What up, YouTube? How y'all doing today? We're back with another food series episode. I know I'm in the same outfit I was in the last episode. I'm recording in a bunch right now. So, even though this is a week later that you've seen the last one, 16 handles, we're on to a new one. I'm just recording all day in the same outfit. So, it's not like I'm wearing the same outfit. It's just I'm recording on the same day and then it just gets uploaded. So, today's episode will be about Baskin Robbins. Now, why Baskin Robbins? If you haven't heard of it, look it up. 31 flavors. They have more. I promise you. Just ask. Reason we talk about this one today. Two reasons. On the second episode of my podcast, Deep Dive, we talked about working in food. And I explained how I worked here at Baskin Robbins. This is actually my first ever job I ever had. And you're like, why'd you work in food, William? Well, because everywhere else I applied to didn't want to, didn't call me, or they called me and then you go back to them, couldn't find them. So the second job I worked at was called 16 Handles, which was the previous episode. I went to apply there first, and the manager there at the time, when I went back to give them a letter and talk to them and actually get a job, could never find her. Her, he, whatever. Don't even know. Couldn't find her. Find them. So, applied to Baskin Robbins, worked there for about a year. You're saying, well, why didn't you work there for a whole year? I worked right after school, so I worked from about, minute I got down there I got my stuff down, about 3:36, that's what it was. Worked nights on the evenings, like 7 to 10, and then sometimes in the afternoon. It's just how my schedule was. I was 16, 17, just looking for a job and trying to work. Very lenient, again, 3 to 4, right after school until about 4 o'clock, 4:30, rush almost every day because children don't care. And now those children work, and I hope they experience what I did. Rudeness. They say they don't have care. This is the first taste of freedom, and they're essentially just ruining it. So, first job, and I'm like, scooping ice cream is going to be easy. It's not easy scooping ice cream. It took me some time to, it sounds silly, but there's two different scoops, one for small, one for normal. And he had to make it so perfect that it could sit on a cone and doesn't fall off. It's not easy. I still remember it. Now I can probably do it with my eyes closed. But yeah. So I worked there for almost a year. The only reason I say that is because my year was I was about to do a year. And baseball tryouts were coming up. And I told my boss, hey, I'm trying out for the baseball team like I do every year. Mind you, this is also my senior year. I'm like, I just need the week off. And if I get the job, or if I make the team, I'll let you know, because then I'll probably have to work. My schedule will be wonked for a few weeks. And if I lost a job, it was what it was. There's nothing I would have done by that point if he didn't want me after baseball. And if I didn't make the team, I'll let you know, and then I can be back to work. So, I didn't make the team my senior year. Again, different story. And they're like, all right, we'll get in touch with you, because it's almost the end of the week. He was going to do the schedule. I was like, all right. So, I let the rest of the week, another week go by. I got nothing. No phone call, no nothing. Another week, I called them, went in, nothing. Then it almost been a month. And I'm like, all right, I've been laid off, as I've learned about the term. I thought, like, okay. I didn't get fired because I wasn't working. Didn't fire me, or didn't tell me, like, oh, this is going to be your last day. I didn't quit. Didn't put in my 2 weeks. I didn't get fired. I just told them, I'm trying out for baseball. I need the week off. So I got laid off. The coworker I worked with, extremely lazy. But he was full-time. Problem was, I didn't speak about this in my podcast on episode 2. He worked 6 days a week, so the one day he didn't work, I got all the tips. And the days he worked, what ended up happening was, so since he worked full-time, he had to have lunch there. He would take his lunch in, like, the middle of the rush from after school, and he would sit there for about an hour on his phone, eating, doing whatever. And then he would, like, do this, do this, do this. And, we had stuff downstairs, we had stuff upstairs. It was like I was just a guinea pig. I'm like, no, you need to do something as well. But, like, he did cakes and stuff that I, making the cakes. So it's like, it was what it was. But, like, I would try to, like, maybe, like, organize a little bit. It's like, what are you doing? Fill up the ice cream. So I, we'd take down pieces of paper, I write down, okay, what needs to see, well, we need a partial or a new full. It was just a lot, and I did a lot, and he didn't really do much, and I didn't want to split my tips. I'm like, I worked here for, you've been sitting. And then, of course, once the rush died, he really didn't do much, except, like, every so often. So, I don't think he works there anymore. I haven't seen him every time I've gone in, but I could be wrong. So got laid off, and it is what it is. I still went in there, and, the boss still knows who I am. He talks to me. But it's just like, the way it went about was very, not classical, just like, if you didn't want me anymore, just tell me. Like, hey, we don't need you no more. We've hired someone new. Or we had 2 new people, you've been here for almost a year. We thank you, and everything. But no, they just kind of, like, blew me off. So that was not fun. And as I said, working in food, you got to take a lot of credit. And it was never easy. I did the best job I can. And then I think there's also other aspects. I'm like, I was working, and I didn't eat much during the day. Once I got to, like, I just didn't eat much. I didn't get the lunch from, I was like, I'm a home person, so I didn't really eat lunch. Some days I did, some days I didn't. When I come home, I snacked, and if I did eat something, it was like a cookie, a muffin, something like to get me through the day. But just was what it was. So there's sometimes, I would take some ice cream home. And, certain things I would pay for, but, like, if I was working and I wanted something, like, I made a milkshake because I'm like, there's, like, a scoop left of this. I'm just gonna make a milkshake. Like, I know we have the supplies. Like, I'm not gonna save this a little bit. I'm gonna make a milkshake. And I took it home with me, and then he, of course, oh, you have to pay for that. I'm like, I'm working. We get a meal. You get your own meal. I should deserve my own meal. Second 16, I was like, we were able to get a free cup a day. But, I didn't always. You got to the point where you didn't want ice cream. You didn't want frozen burgers. You get tired of the food. And probably people that work in food can understand that aspect as well. So, but yeah, that was my first job. There's more than 31 flavors that we kept on hand. Certain flavors that, we didn't keep in the back freeze, or we kept in the side freezer because there's a decent amount left where, like, if people want it, we can definitely sell it. And it probably lasts us a while. My mother's was, like, Love Potion. That was her favorite with hot fudge. It was, like, I don't even remember what it was, but I had, like, chocolate turtles in it. She loved it. So if we had that, I always got that for her if she ever wanted it. So, but I haven't seen it. I think when I went there one time, they didn't have it. But now ice cream runs right through me. It's terrible. So, but that's it for this episode. I hope you guys did enjoy. Remember, if you want to hear more about it, about working in food, check out episode 2 on the Deep Dive Podcast, Spotify, or in YouTube. Excuse me. Remember, like, subscribe, turn notifications so you never miss a new video. I'm not telling you what to do. Just highly suggested. So, I'll catch y'all in the next one.